Hello, LinkedIn, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, and of course, Facebook. My name is Frank Lavinia, and you can catch me on franksworld.com, impactquantum.com, and of course, datadriven.tv. Today is Friday, July 23rd, and a couple things I want to share. I'm wearing a hat because Ed Milet's pretty awesome, if you haven't heard of him. But my hair, I was wearing a baseball hat, so my hair was a little bit wild. So rather than address the actual problem by getting a haircut or combing my hair, I figured I still had hat head. I swapped out the hat because I'm ready to max out changing hats. This is what I had on before. It's a little beat up Yankee hat. I was running around running some errands. Not really stream worthy. I also have course, my Wu-Tang hat. But I'm not here to talk about the Wu-Tang Clan or anything else. You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram to see what I've been up to. Mostly, I want to talk to you about this awesome guy on LinkedIn called Danny Ma. And let me go straight away. I'll share the page. So if you don't know who he is, I believe he's based out of Australia. Here we go. I'll share that window. Hopefully you can see it. Yep, he is based out of Australia. He's host of the 8-Week SQL Challenge. And Danny, if you're watching, love to have you on the Data Driven podcast. But this is why I'm talking about. He's an awesome guy to follow. But this is what makes it relevant for a live stream. And I see there's something on the chat. Neil, can't cast the first stone on the cap. Awesome. Awesome. How you doing, Neil? Hope you're having a great day. And why don't I put the chat up there? There we go. So Danny does this thing, and if you don't already follow him, and I think he is in Australia. Yeah, Sydney, Australia. Fun fact, the bridge there looks exactly like the Bayonne Bridge that connects Staten Island to New Jersey. See? Bringing it back to Staten Island. Anyway, so he does this now multiple times a month. It used to be just once a month. He would post a link to a Google Docs where he would basically comb the internet and find where that there was free or nearly free courses on Udemy. So, for instance, let's see. Let's check out this link. Is it free? Is it free? It is free. I mean, he always does this. He always, he'll usually do a lot of, oh, now that's interesting. An SAP course, Ubuntu Server Administration. Let's see. I'm going to sign up for this right now. Thanks, Danny. Enroll now. And let me hide that for 1 second. How do I hide that? There we go. I'll enter my payment information, which is kind of terrible UX design. Hang on. Yeah. So now I have that. So now I have that course. So it's free. You also notice that Udemy has done pretty big work in terms of rebranding. Trying to changing their direction and things like that. I mean, changing their colors and their look and things like that. But I mean, thank you, Danny. That was awesome. There's a SQL boot camp. So if you don't have any money and you don't want to spend the money and you want to shift your career or you want to learn, this is an awesome. Course. I mean, this is just an awesome resource. So definitely follow Danny. He's an awesome guy. He also has a 8-week SQL challenge. I recommend you check that out. But he's now doing this multiple times a month. And so I'm going to go through and kind of get me some more classes. This one looks interesting. Let's check this one out. I might actually already have it now. Add to cart. There we go. That's in my cart now. Let's see what else we got. Becoming a Scrum Master, complete C developer course. Machine learning and deep learning in Python. Let's see. This looks actually pretty interesting. The Google Data Studio. I'd like to know more about that. So Neil, are you a fan of Ed Mylett? I'm just curious. If you're not, if you don't know who Ed Mylett is, his podcast is very awesome. Definitely recommend his podcast. Very inspirational. He has a YouTube channel as well. So as for me, I hope to have some big news to announce fairly soon, maybe in a few more weeks. But with that, I just thought I would share this. Can't talk. I need to get more coffee. I would share this resource. So definitely check it out. It's just awesome that he provides this. He provides a bunch of other stuff too. If you're watching, Danny, oh, you have a typo there. Just heads up. Love to have you on the show, on the podcast, on the live stream, whatever, man. You're doing great work out here for the community. Just locating these free courses and things like that, and just really bringing the heat, as John Lee Dumas would say. Practice SQL test, Python mega course, decision trees. Wow, I actually already own some of these, so I have a lot of Udemy courses. The one I picked up yesterday was where is Udemy? My Learning. They have one on quantum computing. Frank Lavinia live stream does not go that long without some mention of quantum computing, right? This looks pretty cool. It actually uses Qiskit, which is from what I believe was not Microsoft, Microsoft on the brain, a framework by IBM in their quantum computing. I mean, ultimately, it's not going to be so much the language. It's going to be the different paradigm that's going to matter. Obviously, it's not Q#, it's Qiskit. And I've been looking for a good excuse to learn Qiskit. I have some free time. I'm taking a couple of weeks off in the summer. And thereby hangs the tale, as Shakespeare would say. Exactly. Frank and quantum is not a surprise. I'm ready to max out my quantum computing skills. So I'm not sure exactly who this is. It's probably one of two people with the LinkedIn user designation. Let me see if I can be brave enough and go over to LinkedIn on a different device. Let's see. And see who that is. Oh, it won't let me log in on that device. Lovely. Let's see. Hopefully this won't mess up the internet. Because whoops. Whoa. Oh, it's Sarah. Hey, Sarah, how are you? That's awesome. So now there's 3 people that LinkedIn does this to. Isn't that something? Where it just says LinkedIn user. How you doing, Sarah? It's Saduki. Awesome. And Andy, my brother from another mother. How you doing, Andy? Yeah, I'm doing a live stream. So if you missed it, you've got to follow this guy on LinkedIn. His name is Danny Ma. He's a guy based out of Australia. And I'm getting messages from Andy on Twitch as well. I love it when a plan comes together. So this guy, he collates it. Used to be like just once a month. It used to be like the July edition or the August edition. But he basically will collate all of the free courses that he's found, almost always on Udemy. He has a bunch of other stuff going on too. Basically and he's doing this weekly now, I guess. And Twitch is ahead of LinkedIn for some reason. That is interesting. Could just be the way that Restream is processing it. So how are you doing, Sarah? You messing around in quantum? Do anything interesting in quantum computing? Yeah, okay. Awesome. Oh, that's brilliant. You put your name in there. That's thinking. That's thinking. You always were the smart one in the class. Yeah, Data with Danny. That's the guy. And Andy, I was thinking we'd get him on the show because he does some interesting stuff. He does this whole like SQL boot camp type thing. And sorry, my monitor is telling this. I have my iPad kind of mounted on a stand here, and it's telling me that it's out of battery. So squirrel. So anyway, yeah. So he provides this, and I guess it's becoming more and more popular because we just do it once a month. Now he's kind of dating it, kind of like I think weekly. But it turns out there's a lot. There's a lot of free courses out there. You know, I just picked up a this course here, right live on the camera, on the SAP. I've always wanted to learn SAP, not because I'm you know, have desires to really getting into that space, but it's just a fascinating thing. I think the CRM, and if you listen to the podcast, Andy and I kind of talked about this, where we were talking about kind of the merging of kind of the CRM world and data. And you're seeing this with like Customer 360 and Insight 360, that sort of thing. So you're not doing quantum, yelling at Power BI and more up to more Python and Pandas. That's a good thing to be up to. That is a good thing to be up to. I actually wanted to share this. You triggered my memory, but I think the Humble Bundle is gone now. Where is it? Where is it? Humble Bundle's got a couple of cool things now. A couple of bundles that just came out. I don't have it now, but they had one on data, and there was a whole thing on pandas. And I picked it up, and there's like this whole video series on pandas. Because I don't know, is it me, or is pandas like easy to learn but really difficult to master? That's kind of the vibe I get. Because if you stop doing it for a couple of weeks, you have to be like, how did you do that again? That's how I find it. Maybe my short-term memory is at fault, or you know, squirrel type things. I don't know. But no, that's cool. Power BI. Yelling at Power BI. That's funny. I'm sure there's folks who would have something to say about that. But the thing I want to show you here is, and I actually just noticed something here. I'll get to that in a second. They have a really good bundle deal now. And this is humblebundle.com. Let me, I know I have a little card for it. And they don't pay me for this. I just love what they do. I love the fact that people can learn, but learn kind of on a budget. You know, I have bought way too many of these bundles, but this is really cool. But yeah, so they have this one, and I just saw another one that I swear wasn't there a few hours ago. Yeah, 19 days yet, so it's probably new. Yes, it is definitely the Swiss Army knife. I like the way you put that. That is the Swiss Army knife of Python data processing. There's a lot to do in it. It can do just about anything, which is pretty cool. Which reminds me, I need to. So I have one of the things that a previous bundle had was a data science / Python deal, and it came with kind of video courses on pandas and stuff like that. And I have it on my shared drive, and I'm actually able to watch it kind of on the TV, which is both sad and nerdy. But yeah, definitely. I haven't messed with pandas now in a couple of months because I've been kind of heads down on some other things. But now I have some free time, semi-scheduled free time. I'm definitely going to do that, as well as go to the beach and/or mountains. Not quite sure yet. But check this out. So my younger son is really into Pokemon, and I mean really into Pokemon. And he got a book he's at summer school, because he's one of those kids that has never set foot in school during a normal school year, because his kindergarten year was actually last year, so it was all closed. It was all virtual. And virtual kindergarten is about as surreal as it sounds. And so he's going to summer school so he can kind of acclimate to the idea of going to school and things like that. So they went to the library, which now they call Media Center. And he comes back with a book, a Pokemon book. So he asked me to read it to him. And it was in English, but it was printed backwards, or right to left, not really backwards. So I'm reading the book like normally, and I'm like, this story makes no sense. I'm like, and I thought, like, man, do I have a migraine coming out? Because this literally made no sense. And then I kind of like, wait a minute. I noticed the page numbers were going down instead of up. He goes, yeah, they count down instead of up. And I'm like, okay. So then I kind of realized, like, oh, that's right, because some Japanese books, and I'm sure there's a rich history to this, sometimes they write, the books are right to left. Um, and I'm not sure why that is. So kind of learning that, and he's like, well, why do they do that in Japan? And it's like, well, in Japan they don't really have an alphabet, kind of in the same sense that we would think of it. So then we went down the Google rabbit hole of learning Japanese. So he knows arigato, and Pokemon right to left. I don't know if this counts as. I guess it would be manga. It's a hardcover book. I don't have it, but it's a hardcover book, and the spine and the actual cover and the table of contents does start at the back of the book from my Western eyes, which was pretty interesting. So it was funny because, like, there was this if you just look YouTube, I think it's like Japanese 101 podcast or something like that. That was a YouTube video, and it was these two ladies who, one was American, one was Japanese, and they were kind of talking about, why would you want to learn Japanese? And like, it was like, they're like, Pokemon, anime, manga. And he's like, Pokemon really is from Japan. I don't think he believed me. So it was pretty cool, actually. So get him interested in learning a foreign language. Because I was very lucky like that. My family, my grandfather didn't speak English when he came to the U.S., so I grew up hearing a lot of French. And my grandmother on the other side spoke Gaelic as well as English, and my grandfather, her husband, so that side of the family, he spoke French fluently. He spoke Latin, because in those days, if you were in Catholic school, you learned Latin. He spoke Latin, ancient Greek, and French, and a little bit of Gaelic. So I was blessed. Plus, growing up in New York, you would hear every conceivable language on the street. And he was I think he would have been a linguist otherwise. But anyway, so this is pretty cool. It's like speak and read Japanese. So that'd be interesting, because like I've heard of more than one kid who gets so into anime or manga, whatever it's called. Sorry, it's not really my thing. But yeah, so it was in English. So that's what I don't get, because I haven't seen that. Usually the English written stuff is kind of left to right, but this one was typeset kind of in the other direction. So, oh yeah, for sure. Latin, right. No, absolutely. If you like, I'll hear words. Like I was at a doctor, and oh God, what was the word? Anyway, he was basically we were at the doctor, and I knew what he was talking about, not because I'm brilliant, but because I went to Jesuit high school and Jesuit college. So I kind of had my more than my fair share of exposure to Latin, and just knowing some of that, I was oh my God, I can't think. I'm blanking on the term. It's truly a Friday, but yeah, it totally helps. Basically, we're saying you eat fat, and or you become endo. I don't know what. Basically, and I kind of understood it, and that's because it was like I had no idea what that word was, but I'm like, oh, that part means like self, and then that one, or eating, and that word means fat eating. So you're basically subsisting on fat. It's a keto thing. I don't want to go on that rabbit hole, but yes, it totally is useful, particularly if you're getting into law or in medicine. All those terms have some kind of tie for Latin. 13 years. Wow, I didn't know that. 13 years of Catholic school. Wow. That's right. Wow. Yeah, so you get it. You get it. I think it's Sudoku. I think that's who it is, but doesn't tell me. But I have a feeling it is. But yeah, so yeah, I went to Catholic school, 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, and then 4 years in elementary school. Long story. So 12 years. So you were 1 year ahead of me, but you get it. But yeah, so, and at the time I thought it was kind of useless, but as I get older, it's like, oh yeah, I know what I can kind of do that, still Sudoku. Awesome. Gotta have you back on the live stream. Gotta have you back in the live stream because that was a cool live stream, even though my signal cut out. So this is cool. So that's actually not too shabby. Like for what do they want now? What's this? So for $25, $18, you can get 26 books on this, which don't just cover kind of how to learn Japanese, but also looks like some cultural type stuff. And my younger son is 6, so I don't want him reading too much manga because that stuff gets weird. That's all I'll say. I went to high school near the original location of what was the comic book store? Forbidden Planet. It was like on 8th Street and thinking Broadway. Was it 8th Street or 9th Street? Anyway, it was over in that part of town. And I remember that was when I first saw manga, and some of the, like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's some crazy stuff right there. I will not say what I saw, but I was like, whoa. That's my best Leo Laporte impression. Whoa. But, oh, cool. You're out of the classroom until 8:16, but love to join. Awesome. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Most of my August is totally free. I'll message you my Calendly that I got set up now, and we should be able to make something work. Because on a previous live stream, I was so excited. I was so proud of myself. So I got Calendly, and Calendly is a cool thing where it'll basically look at all these different calendars. So, and it'll look at the calendars and then find out where there's open time. But when it books the time, it only books it on one calendar. It doesn't kind of synchronize across all of them, which Andy will tell you, if you're still watching, Andy, has been a major impediment to the podcasting schedule. But I thought, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they were a big Power Apps person, and I was like, oh, wait a tick now. I'm reading that comment. Speaking of manga, if your kids get into Naruto, check the manga first. Right? Yeah, as long as it says Pokemon, I know Pokemon's cool, but there's definitely some. I might have to learn Japanese just to stay a step ahead of him. And I've always wanted to learn Japanese, or because when you learn a different language system or a different writing system, it totally changes the way your mind thinks. Like when I learned Arabic, that was very insightful, just because of the that was also right to left, and all those squiggly lines started looking like they made sense to me. It was like an old Bugs Bunny cartoon when Bugs Bunny was looking at something that was not in English, and then like the camera would pan and it would turn into English to let the audience know what was going on. But yes, true story. So the Power App, basically I wrote a Power App now, so it listens to my on my datadrivenmedia.co calendar, which is my office tenant that I gifted myself before leaving Microsoft. And well, I bought it, so I did gift it myself. So while I was a Microsoft employee, I could get a steep discount on an office tenant. So I did, and been mucking around with Power Automate and things like that, which will be the subject of another stream, I promise you. But ultimately, so now I fixed Calendly's problem using Power Apps. So when someone books something on my main calendar, which I'm calling my calendar of record, it will go and it'll replicate it across my Google Calendar, my Hotmail calendar, and yes, I still use my Hotmail calendar, and my Electrify calendar, although I'm not with Electrify anymore. That's a story for another day. So yeah, so just the ability to do that and sync it across multiple calendars has been very cool. And check this out. It only took me about 30 minutes to do it. Now, one of the things I do need to kind of work on next is doing the CRUD on it, right? So if a calendar appointment moves, deleting it across all the other ones. And there's plenty of, there's nothing really like that per se. From what I didn't find a template of something that would go through and iterate through all through all the systems and all the calendar events. So it's just an excuse to learn Power Apps, basically. So with that, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Andy. And just want to wish you all a great day. And I'm going to play my fancy graphics. I actually have a new one, but there's a limit on how many I can have uploaded at the same time. So with that, I will say you have a fantastic weekend. I'll probably stream at least once over the weekend. Maybe I'll get a haircut or something. I don't know. But so I don't have to worry about hat head as much. But with that, I will say have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're not tuning in live, be sure to ask the questions. I should stream. So that's funny. So Andy and I have this joke. Andy, do you have that image handy? I know you sent it to me earlier. So the image with the cat saying I should buy a boat. Yes, you have a great weekend too, Sarah. But basically kind of like I should stream. I should print that out to remind me to stream more often. This week I didn't stream because there's just been a lot of chaos and stuff and going on, but that chaos has now been resolved. And one day I will share, I will have a laugh out of, you have it? Let's see. I think you sent it to me on IM. Send it to me on IM. I'll copy and paste it into another window. There we go. I should stream. Copy image. Awesome. If I go, how can I do this? All right. Paintbrush. I'll switch out the app I'm sharing. All of this trouble for a meme, I suppose. Oops. It's okay because there's a cat in it. Go. Stop screen sharing. There you go. Boom. I should stream. So that's the thing that Andy and I kind of like joke each other. Like, hey, you should stream. I should stream. Oh man. So yeah, it's definitely a good motivator and reminder to stream. That doesn't move. So with that, I will say you have a fantastic weekend. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, watching this live. If you're not watching this live, feel free to comment later. I always do try to watch the comments and things like that. But I want to wish you a fantastic weekend, and I'm going to roll some outro graphics. And Andy, you should stream. Thanks. Bye. Bye, everybody.